The Galactic Council, a powerful interstellar governing body composed of the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy, had long maintained peace and order among its member species. Humanity, having only recently joined the Council, was seen as a rising power, their influence steadily growing as they contributed to the Council's decisions with fresh perspectives and innovative solutions. Earth's ambassador, a seasoned diplomat respected by his peers, had become a prominent figure within the Council, his voice carrying weight in the debates that shaped galactic policy. His daughter, a bright and compassionate young woman, often accompanied him to diplomatic events, symbolizing the hopeful future of humanity's role in the galaxy. She was well liked, her presence seen as a bridge between Earth and the wider galaxy, a testament to the potential of peaceful cooperation. During a high-profile diplomatic event held in the heart of the Galactic Council's capital, tragedy struck. The event, intended to celebrate a new era of interspecies collaboration, was attended by the most influential figures in the galaxy. The ambassador's daughter, as always, was by his side, mingling with dignitaries and representing the ideals of Earth. However, as the night progressed, the atmosphere of celebration turned to horror when she was found dead, her life abruptly and violently taken. The shock was immediate, but the Council's response was cold and dismissive. Instead of addressing the tragedy with the seriousness it deserved, the Council's leaders focused on containing the situation, fearing the scandal could disrupt their carefully maintained order. Whispers of an unfortunate accident spread, and the event continued as if nothing had happened, leaving the ambassador devastated and furious. Earth's outrage was swift and fierce. The ambassador, consumed by grief, demanded an immediate and thorough investigation into his daughter's death. His calls for justice echoed across Earth, where the news of the Council's dismissive response sparked widespread anger. Humanity, still adjusting to its role within the Council, had placed great faith in this interstellar body, believing it to be a beacon of fairness and justice. The Council's refusal to investigate further, treating the incident as a minor mishap, shattered that belief. Earth's leaders stood united in their demand for accountability, refusing to let the matter be swept under the rug. The ambassador, his pain visible to all, became the face of this demand, his voice resonating not just as a diplomat, but as a father who had lost his child. Yet, despite the mounting pressure, the Council remained unmoved, insisting that there was no need for further action, dismissing the incident as an unfortunate but isolated tragedy. As the ambassador continued to push for answers, new evidence began to surface, suggesting that the murder was far from an accident. Whispers of a conspiracy within the Council grew louder, pointing to factions that had long viewed humanity's rapid rise with suspicion and fear. These factions, it seemed, had taken drastic measures to curb Earth's influence, seeing the ambassador's daughter as a symbolic target. The evidence, though circumstantial, painted a disturbing picture. This was not an isolated incident, but a calculated act of aggression aimed at sending a message to Earth. The realization that the murder was a deliberate attack on humanity, orchestrated by those who felt threatened by its growing power, transformed the situation entirely. What had initially been perceived as a tragic accident was now revealed as a spark that could ignite a much larger conflict, with Earth poised to demand not just justice, but retribution. The news of the ambassador's daughter's murder and the Galactic Council's cold dismissal of the incident sent shockwaves across Earth. What began as whispers of outrage quickly grew into a tidal wave of public fury. Crowds filled the streets in massive demonstrations, demanding justice for the slain girl and accountability from the Council. The air was thick with anger and frustration, as citizens and leaders alike grappled with the realization that the institution they had trusted to uphold peace and fairness had turned a blind eye to a grievous wrong. Political leaders faced mounting pressure from all sides, with calls for decisive action growing louder by the hour. The ambassador, still reeling from his personal loss, became the rallying figure for this movement. His grief-stricken pleas for justice resonated deeply, not just with the people of Earth, but with humanity as a whole. Under his leadership, Earth's resolve hardened, transforming grief into a unified demand for accountability that could not be ignored. In the corridors of power, Earth's leadership convened to debate their next move. The stakes were incredibly high. Any action they took could have profound consequences for their place in the galaxy. The discussion was heated, with some advocating for a diplomatic approach to avoid escalating tensions, while others argued that the time for diplomacy had passed. The murder, and the Council's refusal to investigate, was seen as an act of contempt that could not go unanswered. As the debate raged on, the decision was made to leverage humanity's latest technological achievement, the newly developed superfleet. This fleet, a symbol of Earth's growing prowess, was equipped with the most advanced technology ever created, a blend of human ingenuity and the best elements learned from other species. It was designed not only as a defensive force but also as a deterrent, a clear statement that Earth would no longer tolerate being pushed aside. The ultimatum was set: the Council must deliver the perpetrators responsible for the murder, or face the consequences of Earth's wrath. With the decision made, preparations for confrontation began in earnest. The superfleet, the pride of Earth's military and scientific communities, was readied for deployment. This armada was unlike anything the galaxy had seen before, boasting state-of-the-art weaponry, nearly impenetrable shields, and faster-than-light capabilities that rivaled even the most advanced alien races. The commanders and crew, handpicked for their expertise and loyalty, understood the gravity of the situation. They were not just preparing for a show of force, they were preparing for the possibility of all-out war. The atmosphere was charged with a mix of determination and tension, as each member of the fleet's crew grappled with the enormity of the mission ahead. The ambassador, driven by his grief and a deep desire for justice, played a central role in these preparations. His presence was a constant reminder of what was at stake, fueling the resolve of those who would carry out the mission. His involvement ensured that this was not just a military operation, but a deeply personal quest for retribution. As the superfleet departed Earth, the weight of what was to come settled in. The ships moved in perfect formation, a symbol of humanity's unity and resolve as they set course for the Galactic Council's home system. The tension was palpable, with the entire planet holding its breath, aware that the outcome of this mission could reshape the future of the galaxy. The fleet's departure marked the beginning of a new chapter, one in which Earth was no longer content to be a passive member of the Galactic Council but was ready to assert its place with undeniable force if necessary. The fate of the galaxy now hung in the balance as humanity took its stand. The journey to the Galactic Council's home system was a spectacle that no civilization in the galaxy could ignore. As the superfleet moved through space, passing through various star systems, its sheer size and technological sophistication drew awe and fear in equal measure. Other species, both allied and neutral, watched with bated breath, some offering covert support to Earth's mission, while others feared the implications of such a powerful force moving with clear intent. Messages from concerned leaders and curious observers poured in, each trying to gauge Earth's true intentions. The fleet's presence alone sent ripples through the delicate balance of power in the galaxy, and as it approached the Council's territory, the anticipation and tension grew exponentially. The galaxy seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see if Earth would truly dare to challenge the might of the Council. Within the Galactic Council itself, the news of Earth's mobilization hit like a shockwave. The Council, long accustomed to managing disputes through diplomacy and economic sanctions, now faced an unprecedented challenge. Factions quickly formed, each with a different view on how to handle the situation. Some members, recognizing the danger, argued for appeasement, believing that meeting Earth's demands, however begrudgingly, was the only way to avoid a catastrophic war. Others, more confident in the Council's military strength, called for a show of force, convinced that a decisive display of power would quickly bring Earth to heel. The debates were fierce, with no consensus in sight. The Council's final decision was to confront the fleet, deploying their defense forces to the outer reaches of their system. However, this decision was made without fully grasping Earth's determination, or the fact that humanity had reached a point where they were willing to risk everything for justice. As Earth's superfleet arrived in the Council's home system, they were met by a formidable defense force, the likes of which had never before been assembled by the Council. Massive warships and advanced battle stations lined the borders of the system, creating an imposing barrier between the fleet and the seat of galactic power. The tension was palpable as the two sides faced each other across the vastness of space, the silence between them more ominous than any battle could have been. Earth's fleet wasted no time in transmitting their ultimatum: hand over the perpetrators of the ambassador's daughter's murder, or face the full might of Earth's retribution. The Council's initial response was to attempt diplomacy, underestimating the resolve of the human fleet. They sent emissaries with carefully crafted words, hoping to de-escalate the situation by offering minor concessions and promises of future cooperation. But these gestures were seen for what they were: empty platitudes that did nothing to address the gravity of the situation. As diplomatic efforts faltered, it became clear that a peaceful resolution was slipping out of reach. The Council, realizing too late that Earth's demands were non-negotiable, began preparing for the possibility of conflict. On the other side, the commanders of Earth's fleet stood resolute, ready to enforce their ultimatum by any means necessary. The stage was set, with both sides fully aware that the next move could plunge the galaxy into a war unlike any it had ever seen. The countdown to a possible battle had begun, and there was no turning back. The final ultimatum from Earth's fleet was delivered with a precision that left no room for misinterpretation. The message was simple and direct: hand over the individuals responsible for the murder of the ambassador's daughter, or face the full might of Earth's military force. The fleet's commanders made it clear that this was a non-negotiable demand, and any attempt to delay or deflect would be seen as an act of defiance. Inside the Galactic Council chambers, the ultimatum caused a wave of panic and indecision. Some members, recognizing the gravity of the situation, argued that compliance was the only way to avoid a catastrophic conflict. They saw no other option but to concede to Earth's demands, however humiliating it might be. Others, more prideful and stubborn, insisted that the Council should resist, believing that to yield now would be to undermine their authority across the galaxy. As the debate raged on, the tension grew unbearable, with every moment of delay heightening the risk of an imminent battle. In response to the Council's hesitation, Earth's fleet initiated a show of force that left no doubt about the power they wielded. Without engaging in full combat, the fleet unleashed a series of controlled demonstrations, showcasing their advanced weaponry and strategic capabilities. Massive energy beams sliced through empty space, obliterating asteroids and unmanned satellites with pinpoint accuracy. Shields that could withstand the most intense bombardments were activated, creating impenetrable barriers that shimmered ominously. The sheer scale of Earth's technological superiority was on full display, sending a clear message: the Council's defenses, however formidable, were no match for this armada. The psychological impact was immediate and profound. Council members who had advocated for resistance suddenly found themselves questioning their stance, as the reality of what they were up against became all too clear. Even the most hardened military leaders within the Council's forces felt a cold dread as they witnessed Earth's fleet in action, realizing that any attempt at resistance would likely end in devastating defeat. Faced with the undeniable reality that they could not match Earth's super fleet in direct combat, the Council was forced to make a difficult decision. The internal struggle that had paralyzed them finally gave way to a reluctant consensus: compliance was the only option. To continue resisting would not only result in the destruction of their forces but would also risk plunging the entire galaxy into war. The Council, aware of the far-reaching implications of their decision, agreed to hand over the individuals responsible for the murder. This capitulation was a significant blow to the Council's authority, sending shockwaves through the political landscape of the galaxy. Their willingness to submit to Earth's demands revealed a vulnerability that many member species had not previously seen, raising questions about the Council's ability to maintain order and control in the future. The balance of power had shifted, and Earth had proven that it was a force to be reckoned with. The standoff, which had brought the galaxy to the brink of war, ended without bloodshed. The Council's capitulation, while avoiding immediate conflict, left a lingering tension that would not easily dissipate. Both sides felt a mix of relief and unease: relief that the crisis had been averted, but unease about what the future held. The threat of war had passed for now, but the events of this confrontation would not be forgotten. The galaxy had changed, and the repercussions of Earth's decisive action would be felt for years to come. The perpetrators were handed over to Earth without further delay, and they were swiftly brought to trial. The proceedings were broadcast across the galaxy, a stark reminder of the consequences of their actions. The trial was thorough, and the sentencing was severe, reflecting the gravity of the crime and the broader implications it had triggered. For the ambassador, witnessing the trial brought a bittersweet sense of closure. Justice had been served, and those responsible for his daughter's death were held accountable, but the loss was a wound that no legal outcome could fully heal. He remained a figure of quiet dignity, carrying his grief with him even as he sought to move forward. On Earth, the public reaction was a mix of satisfaction and lingering unease. While many were relieved that justice had been done, others grappled with the broader implications of the conflict, aware that this victory had come at a significant cost. Across the galaxy, the trial was met with a mixture of fear, respect, and resentment, as different species processed the events in their own ways. Within the Galactic Council, the consequences of Earth's show of force were profound and far-reaching. The Council's authority, once unquestioned, was now severely undermined. The decision to capitulate to Earth's demands, while avoiding immediate war, exposed weaknesses within the Council's leadership. Member species began to question whether the Council could truly protect their interests, or maintain order in the galaxy. Fissures started to appear within the alliance, with some species contemplating withdrawal, while others considered forming new coalitions to counterbalance Earth's growing power. The fracturing of the Council opened the door to potential conflicts, as the balance of power shifted in unpredictable ways. Old rivalries resurfaced, and new alliances began to form, all in response to the changing political landscape. The once stable order of the galaxy was now in flux, with the future uncertain and the potential for new conflicts on the horizon. Amidst this upheaval, Earth emerged as a major power in the galaxy, its influence now both respected and feared. Other civilizations, having witnessed the events unfold, recognized that humanity was no longer a minor player but a force to be reckoned with. On Earth, this newfound status sparked intense debate. Some leaders advocated for using this influence to shape galactic affairs in a way that would benefit humanity, while others urged caution, warning against the dangers of overreach and the potential for backlash. The question of how to wield this power responsibly became a central issue, as Earth sought to navigate its new role on the galactic stage. This moment marked the beginning of a new era for humanity, one in which they were no longer just participants in galactic politics but shapers of it, with all the responsibilities and risks that entailed. The ambassador's legacy was cemented by these events. He would be remembered not only as a grieving father who fought for justice but also as a pivotal figure in galactic history. His determination, born out of personal loss, had reshaped the future of humanity and the wider galaxy. In his final reflections, he understood the costs of justice, the personal pain, the political upheaval, and the uncertain future that lay ahead. Yet, he also recognized the significance of what had been achieved. Humanity's place among the stars was secure, not just as members of the galactic community, but as a force capable of defending its own and standing up to those who would seek to harm it. The galaxy had changed, and with it, humanity's destiny had been irrevocably altered.